Hello everyone, this is Madhavi Karamudi, Assistant Professor in CSE Department. In this lecture, I'll talk about servlets. Some of the basic concepts of servlets we'll see. First of all, the main intention of this servlet technology is for creating the web applications. First, we will see what is a web application and what are the responsibilities of servlet. Then we'll see some of the basics of servlets. See here, web application means any application that the user can be accessible from the web is called a web application. So here, if any application is made available for the people around the globe, round the clock, then those kind of applications we are calling it as a web-based applications. So if you want to create any kind of web application, compulsory we need to create or we need to write programs both at the client side as well as the server side. So if you want to write the programs at the client side, then definitely we need to take the help of client side technologies like HTML, CSS and JavaScript for creating the web pages. So if you want to make that web page as interactive or that website as interactive, compulsory along with that web pages, we need to write some code using server-side technologies. Okay, so whenever you send a request for any kind of web application, compulsory there should be some mechanism to handle your request and there should be some mechanism to generate a response for your request. So to do all these things, we need some server-side technologies. So nowadays there are a lot of server-side technologies are available in the market. If you can see, we have servlet technology, JSP technology, PHP, ASP, and we have CGI technologies. All these are the famous server-side technologies. Now, next question is, generally we'll get some question like, what are the responsibilities of the server-side technologies, right? Let us see the responsibilities of server-side technologies or server-side programming. First of all, these server-side technologies, what it will do is, it will, whenever the user sends a request from the client or from the browser, your server-side program will capture the, capture the information from the request. After that, if it has to, it has to process the request. So for processing the request, if it requires any information or if there is a need of communicating with the database, then it will establish the communication with the database server. It will take the information from the server. According to that information, it will process your request. Finally, that processed request, it should send to the client as a response. Okay, so that after generating the response page, it handovers that response page to the server for delivering that result back to the client. So these are the main responsibilities performed by the server-side technologies. Okay, so in this lecture, we'll talk about one of the important server-side technology, and we'll see the technology that are available prior to the servlets. Okay, so prior to the servlets also we have some server-side technologies, but those server-side technologies contain some drawbacks. So to overcome the drawbacks, some microsystems people came with the solution in the form of servlets. Okay, now we'll see what is a servlet and what are the drawbacks with the previous technologies and what are the advantages of the servlet over those previous technologies, right? First of all, servlet means it is a simple Java program. It is a simple Java program to run inside the web server. Okay, so here server-side technology, the servlet technology is mainly used for creating the web applications. So definitely servlet means it will be looking like any hardware component, but actually it is a software program, simple Java program for creating the web applications. So all these servlet programs will run inside the application server or web server only. So if you want to create any servlet application, compulsory we need to set up some environment in our place. So what are the things that are required for setting up the environment is, first of all, you need to have one browser in your system. Of course, automatically with your system, you'll get one default browser. So after that, we need to install the Java software because our servlet code is written using Java language. So we need to install one Java software, On top of that Java software, we need to install any one of the web servers available in the market according to our requirements. Okay, so here, why I am saying according to our requirements is, there are a lot of server-side technologies are available. Some are open sources, and some are we need to purchase. So depending upon the requirement, we need to choose any one of the technology. So some example technologies I'll tell you. So here, Apache Tomcat server is one of the web server. DEA WebLogic server is one of the web server. Resin server is one of the web server. From Microsoft, we have one more server, that is IIS, and JBoss is also one of the web server. So most of these servers are open source products only. So you can easily download it from the internet, right? So after that, you have to install that web server in your system. Once you set up this environment, then you can create your servlet programs, right? So what your servlet will do is, whatever request your client browser is sending or the user is sending through the browser, that information will be collected. After that, it will generate the response. Then while generating the response, if there is a need of interacting with the database, it will do the task. Once the response is generated, then it will send back that response to the browser software. So this is the responsibility of the servlet, right? Now just see the architecture of the servlet. So if you can see this architecture, here we are using the browser software. Through this browser software only, we'll interact with our application. Okay. Suppose if you want to do any online transactions, okay, definitely what we will do, we will open the browser, then we will type the URL of that particular bank. So through the browser only, we'll send the request. Similarly, here also we'll open the browser, and by using HTTP protocol, we'll send the request to your application. Okay. So whenever you send the request to your application, your request will not go to the servlet directly. Okay. That request will be taken by the server. Here we are calling it as HTTP server. So we can also call it as web server. So that web server will verify whether the requested resource is available in the server's memory space or not. Suppose if it is available, then that request will be handed over to the particular servlet program or that particular resource. Okay. Now your servlet responsibility is to capture the information that is sent by the browser in the form of web page. Then it has to process the request. So while processing the request, if there is a need of taking the records from the database, it will take the records. With that information, it will process the request. It will generate the response. That generated response will be sent to the server. Server will send that response back to the client as a HTML page or web page. So this is the general architecture of any of the servlet or any of the web application. Okay. Now see, this servlet technology was introduced. Just now I told you the servlet technology is completely written using Java language. So the Java language officially came into the market in the year 1997 only, right? So before 1997 also, we have some technologies for creating the web applications. So at that time, what technologies they have used for creating the web application is, this is one of the technology at that time they have used for creating the web applications. Okay, so CGI technology, it was introduced in the year 1995. This is also one of the server-side technology, just like our servlet, but this technology contains some drawbacks. To overcome the drawbacks, Sun Microsystems people came with the solution in the form of servlets, right? Now see what are the drawbacks of this CGI technology and why we need to go for servlet technology. So here I'll show one diagram. With that diagram, first I'll explain the how the CGI will handle the request. Then I'll explain the drawbacks. See this diagram first. Suppose this is the web server. Just assume that this is the web server. Outer box is the web server. And here this is our CGI program which handles your request, right? Now, just assume that here we have one browser. From the browser, we are sending the request. Okay. Whenever you send a request from the browser, your server will receive that request. Then directly your server will not send that request to the corresponding CGI program. Now your server will initiate some process, then that will be handed over to your CGI program. Okay. And one more important thing is, suppose if you are requesting for same resource, but if you are sending multiple requests, your server will not understand whether you are sending for the same resource or for the different resource. That is the reason why what your server will do is blindly it will create one process for each and every request. Even if that request is for same resource also, it will not identify that request. It will create multiple processes to handle that request. Okay. Then with that process, it will communicate with the CGI program. Then CGI program, just like our servlet program, your CGI program also will process the request. So at the time of processing, if there is a need of interacting with the database, it will interact with the database. With that information, it will process the request. Finally, whatever response that is generated, that will be sent back to the server. Server ultimately sent back to the client. That entire process is same. But here the difference is, here your server will create one process for handling each and every request. So process means it is not a small task. It occupies more space in the memory. And if you are sending multiple requests for the same resource, multiple processes, it will start. Okay. So if it, suppose if the user sends 100 requests or 1000 requests, 1000 processes will run inside the server. So if multiple processes are running inside means that definitely the performance of the server will degrade. So that is also one of the, it will increases the load on the processor and it will increases the load on the server to handle those requests. So ultimately the performance will be degrades. So this is the main reason to go for another server side technology. And one more reason is your CGI program, that is whatever whatever languages that your CGI technology is using, those languages are platform dependent languages. Like your CGI uses, CGI technology doesn't have any own language for writing its programs. So CGI language uses either C or C++ or Perl language for coding purpose. Okay. So those C, C++, Perl, all those languages are platform dependent languages. So if there is a, if it is a platform dependent language, then definitely OS to OS, the architecture or the way of executing this application will changes. So that is the one of the other reason for going for the servlet technologies. Now see the drawbacks of, so whatever drawbacks I have explained in this diagram, same drawbacks are written here. So there are a lot of drawbacks with CGI technology. First one is, if the number of clients increases, it takes more time for sending the response back to the client, right? Suppose if 10 clients or 100 clients are sending the request, 100 processes it has to create, and 100 and the CGI program has to handle all those 100 processes. Of course, it will take more time to handle the, to execute that process. Okay, so it will take more amount of time. for sending a response back to the client. And it uses some platform dependent languages. So because of this reason also we need to go for servlet technology. Now see the servlet technology advantages over CGA. Okay, see here in the same diagram with a little bit modification, here also just assume that multiple clients are sending multiple requests. Okay, here whenever your request is for servlet, your container will not create a process for handling that request. It will, instead of creating process, it will create one small thread for handling that request. Okay, so thread means it is also a process, but it is a lightweight process. So compared to process, your thread will occupy less space in the memory and it will be very easy to handle. Okay, so for each and every request, it will create one thread. With that thread, it will handle the request. Then once the request is handled, immediately the response will be sent back to the client through the container or through the web server. Okay, so here your threads will occupy less space in the memory, and irrespective of the request, here you are not creating processes, you are creating only threads. So threads are lightweight processes, so it will be very easy to handle. So automatically the load on the processor will also be reduced. And one more important reason for going to the servlet technology is your servlet technology uses Java language for coding purpose. Okay, so your because of this reason, your servlet technology, servlet is a portable. We can easily move your servlet from one place to another place, and your servlet programs are very secure because your servlet's programs will run inside the JVM, and there is no case of memory leakages. And your Java language have the excellent garbage collection technique, so there is no need to worry about the memory leak, and there is no need to worry about the security reasons. So it will be very secure because it will run inside the JVM only, right? So these are all the main reasons to go for servlet technology over CGA. Now see how to implement this servlet technology and how to write the programs using servlet technology. Okay, so here the implementation for this servlet technology has given in the form of API to the user. The Sun Microsystems people has given the implementation of the servlet technology in the form of servlet API. So API means application programming interface. So your API contains lot of packages. Those packages contain some set of classes and interfaces. Those classes and interfaces provides the implementation of that particular technology, right? So here the Sun Microsystems people has given the implementation of that servlet technology in the form of one servlet API. This servlet API contains two packages, and that two packages contains lot of classes and interfaces to implement that servlet. Okay, let us see the packages available in this servlet API. JavaX.servlet package, JavaX.servlet.http package, right? Here JavaX.servlet package contains protocol independent classes and interfaces. What is the meaning of that statement is, whatever classes and interfaces that are there in this package, those classes can handle requests coming from any kind of protocol. Okay, so your classes, the classes and interfaces available in this servlet package can handle the request coming from the browsers. If the client uses any kind of protocol, it can handle. The client can use HTTP protocol, or he can use FTP protocol, or he can use SMTP protocol. So whatever protocol it is, this package classes can handle all those requests. Suppose if your browser is using only HTTP protocol, so that HTTP related classes and interfaces available in this package. So the classes and interfaces available in this package can handle only the requests coming from the client which uses HTTP protocol. Okay. Let us see the number of classes and interfaces available in each and every package. So if you see the servlet package, this servlet package contains 14 interfaces and 9 classes. Okay, so these are used to buy the container for implementing your servlet. Okay, if you see the javax.servlet.http package, it contains 8 interfaces and 7 classes. Okay, all these 8 interfaces and 7 classes are responsible for handling only HTTP requests. So this is all about Servlet API. In next session, we'll see the important interface of the Servlet API, that is Servlet interface, and we'll see the methods available in generic Servlet class and HTTP Servlet class. So in this session, we have discussed about basics of servlets and Servlet API. So in next session, we'll see what are the important methods available in Servlet interface, generic Servlet class, HTTP Servlet class. Finally, we'll see how to deploy the application in the web server. This is all about this session. So thank you.